Hi everyone, Tasha here for Cat Scrappiness, and today we're going to create a floral Easter card. And this card is simple to make, but it has so much detail and it's really fun for spring or Easter. I'll be using the Happy Easter with Shadow die set. It comes with 2 pieces. I'll also be using these really pretty enamel dots from Cat Scrappiness. They're almost clear, but they have a soft pink tone. I'll be using the stamps in the Friendship Greeting stamp set. And I'll be using 2 pieces of paper from the new Spring Fling paper pad. And this paper pad is double-sided with so many fun prints, and I'm going to use the one that has like a coral or pink tone on white. With a piece of a solid color cardstock from the back of one of the prints. To begin, I'm going to use a cloud stencil. Cat Scrappiness has several cloud stencils in the shop, and I'm just going to use some Distress Oxide ink in the color Saltwater Taffy and go around the center card. I thought this would be pretty because the color is nice and light, and that cloud pattern gives a really pretty background design. So I just went around quickly with some simple ink blending. Next, I'm moving on to do the stamping. I decided on using 2 of the floral arrangements. There are 3 included in this set. You can use 1 or all 3, and I'm using 2 different ones on this project. I'm just stamping with a black ink color, and I will be coloring with Copic markers. I stamped it twice just to make sure it was nice and dark. After I was done stamping, I did cut both of these images out. This is optional, but I do like how it looks when you can layer it. Now I'm going to go in and do some Copic coloring. I'm just using nice light pastel shades. I started with some pink tones, and then I moved on to color the leaves in 2 different shades of green. I think that these designs are so pretty because the flowers can be any color combination to work with your project. Since I wanted this to be a really springy project for Easter, I decided to use colors that reminded me of spring. So we have a lot of teal colors, soft pinks, pretty purples, and then the shades of green. This would also look good if you wanted to do a fall card. You could use fall tones, and in winter you could add red to those little those circles or little berries you could add. So you could really use this stamp set year round and just mix up the colors for whatever season or holiday you're coloring it for. So I went in and added some coral, and then I went over the coral areas with a really light pink. Again, I wanted to coordinate with the color in the pattern paper and in those enamel dots. And this is how it looks when it's all done. It's so pretty. Moving on, we're going to cut out that Happy Easter with the shadow. I started with the shadow and a piece of white cardstock. This is a great time to use up some of those scraps. And then for the coral paper, I decided to use that for the letters or the words Happy Easter. This cuts out so nicely. You just have to run it through your die cutter 1 time and it just wiggles right out. I just kind of bent it around a little bit just to get the little center pieces out. You can use a poker tool or your fingernail as well, and they come out easily. Just placing them and flipping them upside down, I use some liquid adhesive, and I'm going to adhere the words to that shadow layer. It's so nice that this word die set includes the greeting in 3 different parts. It makes it really easy to attach the words onto this shadow layer. Instead of it just being 1 big piece or even 2 pieces, it has 3. So the first one is the word happy, and I used a piece of scrap paper just to press down on top of the word happy to make sure it had a really nice bond. And then you go in with the next piece, which is the beginning part of the Easter word. It helps you really center it, and it's not so overwhelming, so it doesn't wiggle. You can do 1 part at a time to make sure you line it up, and I really like that about this set and I wish more sets were like that. So then once I had that first part of the Easter word, I just went in and then finished it off with the ending. And I did the same thing, just added some liquid adhesive and lined it up, and it lines up perfectly. And then I used that white cardstock and just press it down and hold it for a few seconds, and then it's perfectly centered and ready to go. Next, I'm going to start assembling my card. I'm using that pretty pattern paper from the Spring Fling paper pad, and both sides have a print, so you can really use this paper pad and cut the sheet in half to use both sides of the print, but I just wanted this pretty pink and coral pattern. I attached it to a piece of a light pink cardstock to coordinate again with the colors I used throughout the card, and now I'm going to assemble the center card. So I'm just adding some glue runner behind that coral piece of solid cardstock, or solid paper, it's from the same paper pack, and attached it to the same soft pink as the matting layer. Next, I'm using the glue runner to attach that pretty cloud center card that we created on top of the two layers. I love having matting or those matted layers on your projects. I think it gives it a really pretty finished look, and I like adding as much color as possible. Next, I'm going in and using that glue runner again just to attach my sentiment or my layered greeting, the Happy Easter. I'm placing this right in the center directly onto that center card. And this way you have those clouds that are popping in the background, and that color of that saltwater taffy is just a lighter version of the coral cardstock that we used. To have the flowers kind of raise up a bit, I'm using these little square foam, kind of like foam dots, but they're squares. Cat Scrappiness does have some in a white color. I just happen to have some in black, so I'm just using what I have. But these are great because they fit perfectly, and then it raises it up just a little bit above that Happy Easter greeting. Next, I'm going to attach some of these really pretty enamel dots. I love this color that's kind of like a hint of coral or light pink, but it's almost clear. It just gives a really pretty look to your card because it is almost clear. It just kind of looks like you have a little bit of a water droplet. And I think it's a really pretty detail, and it adds a lot of dimension. So once I was done with that, it was time to attach this center card layer to a card base. So to make a card base, I'm just cutting a piece of cardstock in half, flipping it over, and then scoring it with my Cat Scrappiness bone folder. This flat edge makes it really easy to make your card bases. Because it's flat, you can score those lines or press them down, and it works out really quickly, and I really like this bone folder. So then I just cut it down to size and attached my card. I started building from the base up with the same glue runner. So I'm just attaching that back layer with that pattern paper. I really wanted this pattern paper to show. I know when you make these projects and you have pattern paper, if you're like me, you want as much of the pattern to show, but it's kind of hard when you're also making a card and you have a lot going on. So what I decided to do was make the card base as large as possible, and then make that center card small enough that you had enough of the border of the print showing. So I used some foam tape to raise this center card up, and again I made it a lot smaller than that background so I could see as much of the print as possible, because the print is so pretty and I love pattern paper, but again I hate it when it covers up a lot of the design. Once I was done attaching everything, I thought the flowers needed a little more detail, and I love adding little gel pen details to most of my cards that I color in. So I just use a numbered, I believe number 10 for this one, gel pen size, and I just went in and added a few little dots and a little more details to the flowers. I just think that this white makes those colors really pop, and it gives that extra detail. So here are my 2 completed cards. I hope you guys enjoyed today's project, and all the items will be listed in the description box below. Have a great day. Bye-bye.